Hello, welcome to this video from IELTS Ace. In this series we'll be looking at useful vocabulary for the IELTS exam. In this first video we'll be looking at expressions to talk about things that you like and things that you dislike. This is very useful for part 1 of the IELTS speaking test, where you can be asked questions like, do you like reading? What do you like doing on holidays? What type of sports do you like? And what's your favorite type of weather? In all of these, you're expected to talk about what you like and don't like about these things. Probably you can answer these questions already with phrases like I love, I like, I don't mind, I don't like, and I hate. In normal everyday conversation, these phrases are absolutely fine. However, you're doing the IELTS exam, and one of the things the examiner is looking for is the range of vocabulary that you use. So if we just use these simple expressions that you learnt at a very low level, this doesn't really show the examiner the extent of what you know. So we'll be looking at some alternative phrases that we can use instead. But before we move on to those, we should just think about the grammar that we have here. So after the verb, what comes next? Well, hopefully you can see some noun phrases, for example, rain or any sports. We can also use a gerund or an infinitive. In some cases we can use both, and there's no real difference in meaning. For example, I like reading novels and I like to read novels. There is a very small subtle difference, but I don't think we need to go into that for this video. In some cases we might only be able to use one or the other of these. For example, I don't mind, we should use the gerund, I don't mind driving. We can't say I don't mind to drive. So our first phrase is to be keen on. For example, I'm keen on swimming. So this is the same as saying I like swimming. We can also use it in the negative. I'm not keen on spicy food. So this means I don't like spicy food. For this phrase, we need to use either a noun phrase like spicy food or a gerund. We can't use the infinitive. I'm keen on to swim. And the reason why we can't use it is because the phrase ends with a preposition. So generally where we have a preposition, it can't be followed by an infinitive because that would start with to. Our next phrase is to be crazy about. This is very similar to I love. It's a very strong like. For example, I'm crazy about shopping. Again, this one ends in a preposition, therefore we're not able to use the infinitive. So we either have to use a gerund or a noun phrase. I adore is another phrase that means I love. So it's a very strong like. For example, I adore learning new languages. With this phrase we need to use either a gerund or a noun phrase. If we want to say that we don't like something, one phrase we can use is I can't stand, and this is similar to I hate. So I've heard many people say I can't stand golf. With this one we can use the gerund, infinitive, or noun phrases. Another phrase with a similar meaning to hate is detest. For example, I detest seafood. So I really don't like seafood. Again, with this phrase we can either use the noun phrase or a gerund. Some people don't like these phrases, not my bag or not my cup of tea. However, I know a lot of natives who do use these, including myself. So we can say things like books aren't really my bag, or winter sports aren't my cup of tea. In both cases, this means that you don't like this thing. It's not as strong as hating it, but you don't like it. Maybe you would still do it, but you don't think you would enjoy it. Another phrase you can use is to say that you are a big fan or that you're not a big fan of something. So, for example, I'm a big fan of Russian literature. This says that you have a strong like for something. Perhaps not quite as strong as I love, but it's very strong. On the other hand, if you say, I'm not a big fan of budget airlines, this means that you don't like them. Again, it's not as strong as hate, it's just that you don't like them. If you want to say that something is your favorite thing, another way that you can do this is to say, there's nothing I like more than. So for me, there's nothing I like more than relaxing on a tropical beach. This means it's your favorite thing in the world. Maybe with some things you don't have any strong feelings for or against. In this case, you can use the phrase, I'm not particularly fussed. For example, I'm not particularly fussed where I go on holiday. I just like to spend time with my family. So in this case, the person doesn't mind. We can go anywhere. The place is not important. So now it's your turn. I want you to try using this vocabulary yourself. So we've got these 4 questions that we had at the beginning of the video. Please stop the video and try answering these questions using the new phrases. I hope you found this video useful. If you did and you want to see us make more of these videos, please do subscribe to this channel. You can also visit us at www.ielts-ace.com. Here you'll find many useful tips for taking the IELTS exam. And you can also like our Facebook page, www.facebook.com/IELTS Ace1. If you have any questions, please do leave them in the comments or go to our Facebook page. And I hope we'll see you again soon.